Most people ruin their future not because life is hard, but because they spend too much time focusing on the problem. Think about it. One small failure, one rejection, one bad situation, and suddenly the mind becomes a prison. You stop thinking clearly, you stop taking action. You replay the same negative thoughts over and over again. But the people who succeed in life, the people who build businesses, transform their bodies, achieve success, or survive impossible situations, all have one thing in common. They focus on the solution, not the problem. And that's the core message of this book. Focus on solution, not a problem, isn't just a motivational quote. It's a mindset, a survival skill, a way of thinking that can completely change your life. The book begins with a simple truth. Problems are a permanent part of life. No one escapes them. Rich people have problems. Poor people have problems. Students have problems. Parents have problems. Even successful people have problems. The difference is not the existence of problems. The difference is how people respond to them. Most people ask, why is this happening to me? But solution-focused people ask, how do I fix this? That one shift can change your entire future. The book explains that the human brain naturally focuses on danger. Your mind is wired to notice problems faster than opportunities. That's why fear spreads quickly. That's why negative news gets attention. That's why failure hurts more than success feels good. But when you allow your mind to stay trapped inside the problem, your energy disappears. You become mentally exhausted. The book compares this to quicksand. The more you panic, the deeper you sink. Instead of reacting emotionally, the author teaches calm and logical thinking. Because every problem has three parts: the situation, your emotional reaction, and the possible solution. Most people spend 90% of their energy on emotions and only 10% looking for answers. The book teaches the opposite. Control your emotions first, then focus on solving the problem. One powerful lesson in the book says, problems grow bigger when your attention feeds them. Imagine two people losing their jobs. The first person complains every day, blames the economy, blames bad luck, blames everyone around them. Months go by and nothing changes. The second person feels the same pain, but quickly starts learning new skills, updates their resume, builds connections, searches for opportunities. Same problem, different focus, different future. The book constantly reminds readers, energy flows where focus goes. If your focus stays on fear, your life moves toward fear. If your focus stays on opportunities, your life moves toward growth. Another major lesson in the book is about language. The words you speak shape your mindset. When people constantly say, my life is ruined, there's no way out, I can't do this, the brain slowly starts believing it. But solution-focused people change the way they speak. Instead of, this is impossible, they say, this is difficult but solvable. Instead of, I failed, they say, I learned something valuable. The author explains that successful people train themselves to ask better questions. Not why me, but what can I do next? Because the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. The book also talks deeply about overthinking. Many people suffer twice, first from the actual problem, then from imaginary future disasters created by their own mind. One small issue turns into a nightmare inside their head. The author calls this mental exaggeration. And the cure is action. Because action destroys fear. Small action, simple action, daily action. Even one small step toward a solution gives the brain hope. That's why successful people move quickly, not because they're fearless, but because they refuse to stay mentally stuck. One of the strongest chapters focuses on responsibility. The book says, the moment you take responsibility, you take back control. Blaming others feels easy, but it keeps you powerless. Responsibility is painful at first, but powerful in the long run. Because once you accept, my actions can improve this situation, You stop seeing yourself as a victim. The book also explains the danger of negative environments. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, your mindset becomes infected. Some people spend years talking about problems without ever trying to solve them. The author advises readers to protect their mindset carefully. Stay around people who look for solutions, people who build, people who adapt, not people who spread hopelessness. Another important lesson is patience. Not every problem disappears overnight. Some solutions take time, but panic only makes things worse. The book uses the example of a storm at sea. Experienced sailors don't scream at the waves, they adjust the sails. That's the mindset the author wants readers to develop. Life will always create storms, but calm thinking creates survival. The book also discusses failure in a powerful way. Failure is not proof that you should quit. Failure is information. Every mistake teaches something valuable. Most successful people failed many times before they succeeded, but they treated failure like feedback, not final defeat. One quote from the book says, "A problem only becomes dangerous when it controls your thinking." That line captures the entire philosophy of the book. Your biggest enemy is not always the situation itself. Sometimes it's your mental reaction to the situation. The final chapters focus on discipline and consistency. The author explains that solutions rarely appear magically. They are built through repeated effort, daily habits, daily thinking, daily action. Even tiny improvements create massive results over time. The book ends with a powerful message. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control where your focus goes. And where focus goes, life follows. If you focus only on darkness, you stop seeing opportunities. But if you focus on solutions, your mind automatically begins searching for answers. That's how strong people survive difficult times. Not because they avoid problems, but because they refuse to surrender their mind to them. So the next time life becomes difficult, remember this lesson. Problems are normal. Pain is temporary. But your focus determines your direction. Focus on the solution, not the problem. And if this video inspired you, make sure to like this video, comment your biggest takeaway, and subscribe for more powerful mindset and self-growth content. Because one powerful idea can completely change your life.